We've got a little screenwriting exercise for you.
Okay.
We call it the object. Frederick, can I get that tray?
Hi,
Frederick here.
Was my college boyfriend.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, good to see you again.
The truth comes out.
I've forgotten.
You're going to make him blush. Under the tray, there's an object. It's chosen carefully by us, totally random to you.
It better be dirty.
It will be when you get through with it. Frederick's going to reveal the object. You're going to make up a story about it, and then I'm going to ask you why that story.
Why?
Why? I'm going to ask you, after you made up whatever story you're going to make up,
okay.
Why you chose that story. Frederick,
I'm ready.
Show the object.
Thank you.
Your object.
Thank you so much. This film canister is the reason I brought this into this meeting. I wanted to show you exactly why I want to make this film. This is the actual film from that week in college where the three people met. So I want to do a film about three people, two guys, one girl. And the girl makes the mistake of sleeping with both of them. And in the week that they have their incredible week together, it's, you know, orientation, and everyone's, you know, at college and realizes that the world is ahead of them, and plus nobody's monitoring them. Right. And they forget that there are repercussions to their actions.
Did they film themselves sleeping with each other?
Yes, that's what's here.
Excellent.
That's what's here. And
you brought a porno film.
I did. It's not a snuff, but a little bit of porno. And 20 years later, they find each other and don't realize that she's had a baby. And the two of them don't know which one of them is the father of that child. So the weekend of them getting together is getting to know this child and determining who the father of the child is. And what I want to do is, I want to shoot two endings and see if the audience agrees with us at the end, and we can decide which one we're going to distribute.
Or you can do half the country gets one dad, the other half gets the other dad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now, that's wonderful. How did you arrive at that story when you saw the film canister?
I just watched a documentary called Born into Brothels, and it's all about canisters of film. So my immediate thought when I opened it was not to do that pitch.
Right, right. Thank you, by the way. No, very important documentary, but it would bring the mood down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so I just thought, well, why don't we just do something about pictures and the repercussions that they have 20 years later.
Who held on to the film?
She did.
She did, of course.
I guess, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always write myself an interesting part, don't I?
Very cool. Does writing about your own life come naturally? Or is it hard?
I remember about a week before my Big Fat Greek Wedding was finally going to be distributed, this dream was coming true. Actually, I didn't even know I had that dream. It was just beyond. And I had this recurring nightmare that I was opening my door naked and there were paparazzi taking a picture of me, and that I didn't have a chance to suck in my gut. And I know what that was from. It's, you know, when you write from your life, you are exposing a facet of your personality or of your upbringing that is now open to interpretation. There are so many things that have been attributed to me that I did not intend. And I worry sometimes because I'm a middle child and I want everyone to be happy. I didn't want my family to be hurt. I didn't want the father, who I wrote as one character, to be called blustering, ignorant father. Right. I was like, no, 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 no. And that's what happens. You take a risk. If you have a supportive, thank God, close family like mine that's okay with it, right, you're okay, but I'm very careful to disguise characters for exactly that reason, because I don't want a cousin to think I'm ever making fun of her, you know, unless I'm going to give her a cut.
Right. Was the initial response from your family to the film overwhelmingly approval?
Thank God, yeah. I had given my parents the screenplay before we shot it. Okay. That's how scared I am of hurting anyone's feelings. Right. And they were amazing. My mom said, no, you know, go shoot it and have a great time. And I was like, eh. And then when the movie came out, we had a premiere here about 4 days before the movie was going to be released, and I had 50 family members fly out. I called it the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles premiere. They all came out, and they all stayed in one hotel on Sunset Boulevard. I'm sure they now have a sign that says no Greeks. You know, and it was really fun, and they laughed. I sat behind them. They were all, you know, a chunk of black hair in front of me, and I watched them watch the movie, and it was the relief and the joy to see them, just like their heads are going like this, and to laugh and laugh. And was great. You know, what else are we here for?
Right.
It was really fun.
So rows and rows of agents, and then your family, and then rows and rows of agents in the theater.
yeah, it was weird. That's when they came.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you do you still draw from real life when you're writing non-autobiographical pieces? Do you still find it seeps in?
Yeah, I name characters after my friends still, and everything that I'm writing is in some way it has happened to me, or I've heard about it, or something. I just try desperately to not take anything that's not mine.
Right.
To if I hear a story at a party and I think, oh, that would make a good, it's not mine.
Even though you heard it and technically it came into your world.
Yeah, I just don't want to be part of a system that I was railing against.
Right.
I don't want to, make movies that I didn't want to make. I don't want to, as an actress, thank God I don't have to take Look Who's Talking 9.
Right.
Thank God,
yeah.
but so I don't want to, I don't want to lose my soul because this incredible thing happened to me.
Are you open to taking rewrite assignments? Have you done that in the past?
Only for things that I want to be in. If I get offered an acting part and I think the script is almost there, or it could use a little tweaking, or I like this part, but I'd like to make this part bigger or something, I'll go to the producer and say, hey, can I? And it's happened twice, and I'm really excited about doing it. I think it's, again, as a middle child, you have to be extremely respectful that you are being invited into someone else's world. And I always liken it to like a fantastic person showing up at a party that's been going strong all night, and 11 p.m. showing up in a boa and being, now the party begins. And it's like, no, the party's been going on. This is a party. And so you have to, I think, be respectful of what's there. And if I know a way to, I hope, make it better, then that's what I do.
Even though writing came after the initial push to act, can you ever see not writing and just, putting yourself out there as an actress?
Actually, I would love to. I would love to act in things that I haven't written, and I haven't been offered anything that I get to keep my top on.
Right.
I get offered stuff that I go, are you kidding me? No, I can't, no.
My mom could see this.
Exactly, and so until that happens, I'm going to continue writing, but I have found 2 scripts that I haven't touched a word on, and I'm hoping to get them made, and I did not write them.
Is it easier writing from scratch than doing something as a rewrite job?
Both are different. The rewrite sometimes, well, I don't actually attempt to rewrite something unless I can see exactly where I think it's gone into another area, and I just can pull it back here. So both are different, but the rewrite is sometimes kind of fun because, and then again, I really, really hate writing, so for me to call anything fun is amazing.
Right.
But I like it because then I can think, oh, I could maybe get this movie made.
Have you written any screenplays on spec?
The first 2.
Oh, okay.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding and Connie and Carla, I didn't even ever have a clue that they'd be made.
Okay, so there was no, even though it was a one-woman show, there was no deal for the screenplay with Playtone. It was all after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, what happened is Rita Wilson came to the show and she said, "This should be a movie," and I went, and threw the screenplay at her.
Right
just literally, her hair flew back. That's what the joke we always make.
Could you see writing spec scripts in the future?
I think if I had an idea for something and I'd gone to the studios and pitched it and no one was interested in it, and I still felt that strongly, of course, I would write it.
But you would pitch first because that would help you get kind of into the idea of sitting down and writing something.
Yeah, and sometimes it happens too that when you're pitching something, they say, oh, who would be great for the sister is so-and-so, and then it really helps me to write with, Catherine Keener in my mind. Do
you enjoy the pitching process? Is it difficult? Like, what do you bring to it?
I'd rather have a fire hose enema. There is nothing worse for me, and even though the one thing that I pitched was bought in the room, I still...
Is it the pressure that gets to you?
I just don't know how to do it.
Right.
I don't know what makes a good pitch, and as an actor, I know that some people are great auditioners and then are terrible on the set, so I don't know. I think I just try to storytell. And
what's your preparation before you go in to pitch something?
I write it out.
Okay.
Write it out completely, and then go in and say, this is what I'd like to do.
But I imagine you treat it kind of informally, like you just tell the person a story.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the way to do it?
That's a good way to do it. I'm guessing that's what you do. But
yeah.
Really, you boil it down to the essentials, and it's just like, if I tell you a joke, or if someone tells me a story about their family, about what happened last night or whatever, you just treat your story like an anecdote, like a really entertaining anecdote.
It really is. Just to me, everything is. I think when you go and sit in a theater and you watch a movie, it's just like when we were kids and you say to your parents, tell me a story. That's what you're doing. You're just opening your arms and saying, tell me a story. And sometimes where you can maybe we can see the studio note, like the guy cheats on the girl and wins her back, and you're like, oh, you know, and it's that moment where I feel like you've opened your arms and then you,
Right. Next, you'll get really good at spotting the reshoot.
Yeah.
Like someone's hair is always like a little bit off, and you're like, reshoot.
Yeah, the reshoot, yeah.
When they come to you for rewrite assignments, what do you think they're looking for when they bring you in or they go to you for a rewrite?
I know what they're looking for. Yeah. I remember being in a studio meeting, and the first thing that happened when My Big Fat Greek Wedding had the success is that I was taken around to all the studios, and people would say to me, not everyone, but people would say to me at the studios, I just want you to know that I was not in charge when we passed on your movie.
That's great. Like, just a disclaimer right off the bat. Like, I wasn't me.
I was not here. Yeah.
Did anyone stand up and go, hey, I passed, I was wrong, congratulations, would love to work with you in the future? Did that go on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I really respected that too. Now, I would have passed on that movie. There was not a visible star in it. We did not know the draw of John Corbett.
Have there been test screenings with test results before distributor? And
the test results were so high. And we had people say, these numbers are incredible, but I don't know how to market this thing.
Right.
And we didn't know either, but one of our producers, Gary Getzman, had been a music person, and we went on this, dog and pony show around America, and it really worked. It really worked to go on local radio.
Well, when you have a movie that tests really well, and there are no, at the time, no big stars or no obvious hooks to the marketing, the movie becomes the star. You screen the shit out of the movie, and that will jumpstart word of mouth, and word of mouth is still the best marketing tool. But none of the majors kind of caught on to that. When it was screened for them, they didn't see that they could do that with this kind of film?
Maybe they know that technique, but there's no time for it now. Right. Who knows? But we called it the Telegreek thing. We had screenings in a lot of major cities, and we told as many Greeks as we could about it. And this thing started called the First Friday
Are there
Club.
A lot of Greeks in this country? Or is it
Only 3 million. And that's men, women, and children. So I do not know what happened, but I think they pounded on their neighbors' doors and went, if you ever want to be invited for Moussaka again, go to this movie. I don't know what happened.
What was the experience like after the film's a success and you have to make the rounds and meet all the studio people? Was that strange?
I loved it. I thought it was really fun.
Anybody still have their job?
Yeah.
By the way?
Yeah. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you before. So when I was doing the play, I had a guy come up to me and say, I'm so-and-so, and pressed an oily card into my arm, come into my office. And I went into his office, and he had no posters up. I don't know who he was. And he said, I want to buy this idea that you have for a play. And I said, oh, I've written the screenplay. And he went, whatever. Now listen, I'm going to turn it into an Italian movie, and I'm going to get Marissa Tomei. And I was like, I love her, but it's about my Greek family. And he went, okay, or Jennifer Lopez. And I was like, what just happened?
He bypassed Greek, went right to Hispanic from Italian.
Like we were all brown to him. Like, good enough. And so I just thought, no. So I said, listen, I'm going to try and get this thing made on my own. And he laughed in my face. Like, I felt his hot breath on me, and he offered me a substantial amount of money for the idea, and that was it. And so I said, no. And he said, well, give me a call in a year. And I was like, all right. So the day that the deal closed with Playtone, I happened to be on the Fox lot because I had my one and only audition for what's it called? NYPD Blue.
Oh, okay. Were you like victim number 7?
Yeah, something like that. I think I had an arrow through my head or something, and I didn't get it. But I was sailing through the lot because the deal had closed, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, waiting for my car, and there was that guy, and I didn't even recognize him because it was a long time. It was maybe two and a half years.
And he had surgery.
Yeah, he had an eye lift, and yeah. And he said, do you remember me? And hey, why don't you come in and we'll have a talk? And I actually got to say, you're not going to believe this, the deal closed today. And he went, oh, yeah? Who bought it? And I went, Tom Hanks. This is the best moment ever.
Did he have a comeback, or would he retort?
He actually acted like he didn't believe me. Jerk.
Have you ever experienced anything in the industry that you feel is directly related to you being a woman? Is there sexism, or is there, do you feel like it's different for you being a woman pitching or writing in the system than if you were a man?
I guess I know it's definitely there, and I haven't experienced it, but I don't want to demean the efforts of women who have.
Right.
So I know that there are so few of us that are working, and it's terrible, and we're in the WGA, we're this minority, and I feel lucky that I am. And in the same way, I try to mentor women writers and also men. I'm not going to say no because somebody's a guy if I like their screenplay. So no, I happen to. I said this one time at, I think, the Hollywood Women's Breakfast, that Rita Wilson and I are two women who wanted to make a movie, and Tom Hanks and his partner Gary Getzman were two men who never in a million years would have ever thought to say no because we were women, or they just went, sure, what do you got?
Yeah.
You know? And so I know my experience has been lucky that way, but also, again, Second City really taught me that you know, you have to be tough.
Right.
You have to go in the room and you have to be tough. You got to play.
That's great that you're mentoring new writers. Who would you say is your mentor, if you had to pick one person that's your mentor?
My mentor is clearly, for me, Rita Wilson,
okay.
in that she has, I call her my fairy godsister. She has managed to live a real life in a city. She has kids and a family and a husband, and she does her creative projects, and I just think she really took a chance on me. And things happen, like with the nomination, and things that happen, that I aspire to be what these people think I am.
Is there camaraderie among female writers in town? Do you all do you seek each other out because it is a minority?
I know definitely when you see another female writer or someone who's funny, that we do tend to, you know, what? Hi.
Right.
You know, and I love meeting them. Some of them aren't visibly recognizable. So when I'm talking to somebody at a party and I say, I'm sorry, what's your last name? And she says, Corey. And I'm like, Kelly Corey? Oh my God.
Right.
You know, that was really cool for me, and to meet people that I look up to. And my generation at Second City was particularly strong in terms of women. Tina Fey was there, Rachel Dratch was there. We had some pretty kick-ass broads.
Do you read other screenplays around town, or do you keep up with like just the work that's going on as writing samples, or just to read?
I will read anything that comes to me. If it's submitted properly, I will read it, because I know what it was like to not be read.
Right.
So I will try to find new writers, people. I don't care what their credits are. If I read their screenplay and I like it, and I'd like to, you know, kiss a guy in it, I'm gonna play it.
Do you ever feel like your ethnic background has been a liability in your career? I guess pre the movie, certainly your acting career you've mentioned, post the movie, is it limiting, even as big a success as it was in
Not
terms of your
anymore.
writing career?
No, and it's not limiting. It was definitely a liability, but it was one of those things that I took the problem and made it the solution. And in a way, I should thank those agents who saw me as limited, because it made me think, oh yeah, move, move.
Right.
I'm here for a reason, and I wanted to tell stories, and so I found a way to do it.
Do screenwriters have any power to protect their work, or is it really you're at the mercy of the system?
You're at the mercy of your producer, I think. If your producer is protective and understands the creative process, then you are going to have a joyous experience.
Right. Will you move into producing your own screenplays?
Well, you know, I don't really like to be in charge. I like to kind of make something and then hand it over. If I do produce something, I would try to take a lesser role, or direct it, try to take a lesser role. I don't know how healthy that is, to wear all those hats.
Right. What most surprised you about the business part of the industry, the part that you were most unfamiliar with? Any big surprises when you got there? When you got there finally?
What most surprised me is that creativity takes the backseat to the dollar. I'm naive that way. I made a living as an actor for so long on stage, not making any money, and then I came here and tried to make money and realized it's a business.
Right.
And you have to make your screenplay as palatable as possible and still retain your creative vision. So, you know.
Yeah, what you did unknowingly, they try to do every time out, which is appeal to what we call the 4 quadrants, like every demographic. You know, what your film achieved is what they consciously try to do with their own developed stuff every single day of the week, but it works so rarely when it's committee like that.
Yeah, isn't that so weird? I know it's odd, and we would be, you know, horrible people if we said, yes, we set out to do that. We knew what we were doing. We did not. We did not, and we were thrilled when it happened to us.
So just the dollars of it all surprised you when you got to see the business side?
Yes, yes.
Does it affect your creativity at all?
No, thank God. I don't have to worry about stuff like that, because I'm creating stuff that I want to do. Right. I have, you know, a really great manager. I know we shouldn't talk business that way,
but
it's
okay. It's interesting for people.
This is a person who took me on before my Big Fat Greek Wedding came out, and who is not interested in me just doing sequels and studio films and the things that are going to pay top dollar. He will listen to my reasoning on why I cannot take that job, or my soul will be crushed. And I think that's great, and I have great agents for that too, and I have had the same lawyer as well for 8 years, so it's really fun. It's fun to be able to go, hey, look at this check, want to share?
Was going to the Oscars fun?
Yeah.
Was it surreal?
Yes. Yeah.
Had you watched them on TV growing up?
Yes. The Golden Globes were pretty wild too, because I'd watch them and thought, are they eating? And they do. You know,
it's an actual sit-down dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are really verbal at these things. Like if someone's walking across the stage to present, you'll hear from this table, she's crazy, and then you'll hear from that table, she is crazy, Rita,
right.
And it's like, oh my god, oh my god.
Right. Everyone's volunteering their information.
Yeah, it's fun.
What's been the biggest frustration to you about your own writing?
It's hard. Again, you know, I get to write. I get paid to write. Oh my God, I should not complain. However, I have to acknowledge that it's a daunting thing to sit down. I remember when I was doing the one-woman show, I was sitting backstage and I could hear the audience out front, and they had such expectation in their murmurings, and I thought, who the hell do I think I am that I have charged these people to come and hear me speak? And you just have to think, well, why not you?
Right. What's been the most gratifying experience as a writer so far?
The connection, the feeling of connecting to a stranger, to someone going, laughter is a moment where, ha ha, I know you. That's what that is.
A moment of recognition from artist to audience.
Yeah, yeah, it's a moment where you are the same. They know you, and they know what you've written, and they know that character, they laugh at that moment. My favorite laugh in the world is the callback, when the audience congratulates themselves on getting it. You know, I love that, love it.
It's kind of a rolling thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
What are the differences between hearing that or connecting like that on stage with a live audience, and then I imagine at screenings of your film, you're getting it a different way, but you feel like there's a connection, but they're very different experiences.
Very different experiences. It's almost like the immediacy of theater is you can fix it, and with Second City, we could change it the next night and the next night. And when I was doing plays and musical theater, you could alter your performance if you didn't get a laugh on something. It's like a mental note of, I pushed it, I played it too hard. Tomorrow night I will do it this way, or try to be more organic. But you know, in film, it's like you got to trust your instincts. Right. The thing that's really helped me too is to have readings of things. Okay. Hearing it out loud really helps me.
Did you do a reading before the production of My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
We had a read through at Playtone, and that was the most exciting day.
What do you pick up from a table reading that helps you with the revision process?
Tempo, story, everything, character. If something feels jokey, if I feel like I can exchange a line with this character and this character, it's not organic, it's a joke, rip it, get rid of it. You can feel it in the room. It's really very beneficial for me.
What's been the best piece of advice or insight you've picked up over the years, and who gave it to you?
I think the advice that I grew up with from my parents of don't lose yourself has carried me through. I know that I heard a quote recently, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it was that success takes you places where character can't sustain you. And I disagree, and I agree with it. I think that success takes you to experiences and meeting people that you admire. It takes you to places that you cannot believe you're there. And then so what? Next day you're back at your computer.
Right. Now you'd mentioned there was talk, or at least discussions about a Greek Wedding sequel. Is that something you'd ever be involved with, or in terms of writing, or do you feel like you're past that story, or do you think there will be a sequel?
I don't feel like I'm past it, and I don't feel like I want to do it now.
Right.
So I feel like if I do it, you'll know it's because I did it because it was in my heart.
Right.
Thank God the producers aren't pushing for it. They just say, yeah, maybe we'll do one day when she feels like writing it. They're amazing that way, and I would like to do other Greek stories. I would like to work with that cast because we laugh our heads off together.
I grew up with Room 222, so every time I see Michael Constantine, I'm happy.
Yeah, they're great people, and they were great because we made the film and couldn't get released, and they did it for $1, and they were our friends before Success, and you know, that's who you know you.
Yes.
I have a lot of new best friends now.
I'm sure.
But I know who my real friends are, yeah.
Tell us about A Wilderness of Monkeys.
Oh, that is now renamed A Piece of Work. It's a book that Playtone bought for me, written by Laura Zigman. And that's an interesting process because I read her galleys.
Oh, okay.
And we loved it and thought it would be kind of a good vehicle.
Did Playtone supply the galleys to you?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'd heard about it, I think, through the agency because we're all rep by CAA, so yeah.
Okay, it's all one big happy family.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was pretty cool. And so Laura Zigman has rewritten it over the, I think, year and a half.
Right.
It's now called A Piece of Work, and it's being published in the fall, and I can't wait. She just sent it to me, and I can't wait. That's going to be interesting to adapt. Again,
right.
You have to be respectful. It's her piece.
And is that your first adaptation of a book? Mm-hmm. Is there anything you do differently for adapting a book in your process?
I keep rereading the book. I keep rereading it so that it's like I want it to be in my cells.
Right. Do you underline or highlight or?
Yeah, I've written little notes and things like that, and I want to make it. I also like, again, the ensemble pieces, and I want to make every character interesting for an actor to play. So I don't know. I'm really excited about trying it.
And what else is next for you aside from the projects you've mentioned? Is there anything immediate right now that you're working on or you're going into?
I'm in pre-production on 2 romantic comedies, and we just are about to find out which one's going to go forward.
Okay. But not the Valentine's Day thing?
No.
Okay.
One of them I rewrote. It's called The Ugly Truth. And another one I didn't touch a word of, and it shoots in Greece.
Do you have any advice for aspiring writers or people just starting out that you can think of that, if you could tell someone one thing, what would it be? I
meet a lot of people who say, I would love to break into the business. How do I do it? And there is no way.
Right.
There is no single way. Networking, getting your screenplay out there, read. And I would say to just write. So that if the studio reads something and goes, I like this. We have a surfer movie. What else do you have? You can go, I have this,
right.
About clowns. And so I think any facet of your life, pull from your life, write what you know.
But keep writing.
Keep writing. Even though it's lonely and it's terrible, places like this make it very possible.
Oh, very cool. Well, we want to thank today's subject, Nia Vardalos, for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
It was fun.
Thank you for being with us as well. Please remember to check out the other great interviews in our series with industry pros. And remember, it all starts with you. The next written by critic could be yours. I'm Mike DeLuca.